This is the voice of Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching and listening. This is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week, and we're now signing on. We are now live. We are up and running on the YouTubes. We're here. We're ready to kick things off and get things started. And if you want to say it all fancy, you can say the international service of the Report of the Week's channel is now on the air. Because truth be told, wherever an internet connection exists, VORW, of course, can be accessed, and, we do have listeners all around the world, so I guess this is an international service. Of course, the real, true international services exist on shortwave, but we were there too, so we got all our bases covered here. Thank you for listening again. VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. If you're curious when this program is being recorded, it is presently 12:55 a.m., and it is Friday the 30th of October 2015. So that means, to be official, it's early Friday morning. But, to just say it easy, it's Thursday night, right? Thursday night, very early Friday morning. Very late October 2015, and I'm recording a VORW tonight. Doing that now. It's a slow night, not doing anything, still awake. So what I'm thinking about doing is just recording a bit of a VORW show. I'm gonna talk for a bit, and then hopefully by then I'll go to sleep and get a rest or something. But planning on recording most of the show tonight, and then uploading it tomorrow evening, I guess this evening. So you'll probably get this show, probably, if you're listening to it first. Probably, I'm assuming all goes well. Hopefully, maybe 10, 11 p.m. on the 30th. So Friday evening, Friday night, hopefully you'll get to enjoy this VORW. And if not, Saturday is the day, but that's where things lie. Hope you're doing okay. Hope all is well on your end. The week is pretty much concluded. At the time of recording, of course, we got Friday, so, hope all you guys, whatever, at work, had a good work week. People going to education, be it college, high school, hopefully nothing lower than that. Because if you are, I don't know, VORW is the program for you. Not that it's really to I guess, I don't know, what do they describe it as? NSFW, but, just try to focus and target a more, an audience over 15, we'll say. But, hope your week has been holding up, hope it's been doing good, at least. My week has, zoomed by, as time always is now. I always just look at the clock, look at the watch, and sometimes I think to myself, is time, I talked about this in an earlier VORW, I just think time is just zooming and zipping by. You figure it can be a good thing or a bad thing, right? When times get bad, you kind of want the time to go by. You want to just want it to go by as fast as possible, get rid of the bad times, just let it go by, right? I mean, if things are going good for you, you kind of want time to slow down. You want to be able to, make your day feel, if it's really good, make your day feel like it's 24 hours. Just want to cherish and make the most out of every minute. Every minute. Every minute. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we can't control the past, but we can control the future. We have regrets, yes, of course. We all have things we say, I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done that. But you also have the opportunity and the capabilities to say, I can do this, and I can do that. And you have the option and the abilities to prevent future regrets. I don't know where I was going with that, but just something to say, I suppose. Anyways, hope you're all doing well. I certainly do. Fall is here. Okay, fall is here. The leaves are changing colors. The leaves are changing colors. Now they're starting to actually fall. Hence the name. Hence the name, fall. That's right, the leaves do fall. They do indeed fall down. That's what they do. And that's what we got going. You know, temperatures are well, let's see what the weather's looking. It was unusually warm the other day. Unusually so. Month outlook. Let's see what the weather's been lately. It's gonna be 57, sunny, 55, and this is Fahrenheit. 61, 60. No, temperatures, you know, seasonal, pretty much on par with the seasons. You know, 60s and 50s during the day. Right now, 50s, it's overcoat weather for me, but 60s is just standard suit and tie weather. You know, when it gets into the 50s for me, at least when it first gets into the 50s, when you first, you know, after experiencing months of temperatures in the very warm weather during the summer, you know, just having temperatures every day in the 80s, 90s, and then 70s, and then boom, you get hit with air that's in the 50s. It's going to seem like a freezing air, you know, so always October, some of November, that first wave of coldness is always the worst. That's usually when I break out the sweaters in my wardrobes, kind of go with the sweater vest, three-piece suit look. Really wear the overcoat. Just that first wave of cold air really hits. But then after that, you kind of adapt to it, you know. Then by January and February, I'm just wearing, you know, it's 20 degrees outside, and I'm just wearing a shirt and tie, some pants, and the overcoat over that, no scarf or anything. You know, I'm just kind of used to it. I'm just like, 20 degrees, big deal. But, you know, I know people say, some people say at least, they think of how cold the winters as of late have been, and they say, hey, you know, I kind of don't mind global warming. It would be kind of nice to have a warm winter, you know. Don't have to deal with the snow. Don't have to deal with, you know, the cold air, and you know, I just consider that to be pure, utter conjecture. Just idiots. I mean, I hate to call people that, but that's just my opinion, because global warming is just, I don't know, it's just an awful thing. And, you know, people say, well, you know, yeah, let's ruin the whole season for my convenience. Winter is supposed to be cold, and without winter, without colder temperatures, I mean, we're already seeing it now. It's just disastrous effects. At this point, we're going down the slippery slope. There's no turning back now. We've dug ourselves in a hole that we can't get out. But, you know, we'll leave that to the climatologists. Because I can't do anything about it. Except to babble on about it. Global warming, that is. And yes, it is a real thing. I don't know how people can, you know, deny it, really. Who knows, though, you know. Who knows? Everyone is entitled to their opinions. That's just how the world works. We have a mouth, and we're allowed to have our very own opinions. Each and every one of us. We are indeed. We are indeed. Okay. What else do we got going? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we got. Here's your program guide for VORW today. On today's program, we're going to be talking about some issues and thoughts about Twitter. After that, going to be mentioning some of the latest reviews on the channel, including the public review that I just filmed today, the Taco Bell steak and potato boss wrap, the mint review, the rating scale, and so forth. And then after that, just any miscellaneous topics. And of course, we'll have the second half of our program, the fan mail segment, where we open up our mailbag and read and respond to your letters of support, criticism, and general comments, questions, organized or unorganized statements, and everything in between. And of course, always remember, fan art is greatly appreciated. First, I'm going to talk about Twitter. I am not a social media person. Now, nearly everyone is. To take an assumption. And I know what they say about people who assume. You make a donkey out of you and me, to say it politely. And I know they say that about people who make assumptions, but I'm going to go right ahead anyways and make one. I am to assume that at least 85% of this listening audience has some form of social media. Specifically, we're talking about Twitter. That's what I'd say. I'd say a large percentage does. Doesn't matter if you made an account just to get, the tweets, the precious tweets from, some account or some news site, or if you're there, telling the world in every second in 20 characters or less about your life. I know it's not 20 characters or less. I don't know how many. I know there's a limit though. Doesn't matter how active a user are. Many people have Twitter, and where to start? I have two things to talk about. First, we're going to talk about there's a site that goes along with Twitter. It's called Vine. I've known of it, but I've never really looked into it. When I hear the word Vine, I just think of like a vine growing up a wall, just a vine ripened tomatoes. I guess that's just old school thought. But nowadays, more and more people, when they hear Vine, they think of their 5-second videos of someone acting stupid to get some, views. Or, someone falling and breaking their nose and people laughing at them, Anyways, it came to my attention the other day. Someone commented, and it got me doing some investigative work of this Vine. Let me search the comments right here. They said 5 days ago, this guy with a wonderful name. I mean, just an absolutely wonderful name. Called, well, we're not going to repeat it on this show, but, He says, there's a video of you on Vine that has gone viral. And I said, what? But I haven't been getting any substantial increase in subscribers or views. What the heck are you talking about? A video went viral. So I did some work, and eventually I found this. VINE. Is this the one, or is this? Oh, yeah, this is. Okay. And I look, right, and it's from this account called the S word White People Do. And on it is a clip of me, of yours truly, right here. And this is what it is exactly. The cheese looks nice. Sauce looks nice. I'm expecting a lot of good stuff out of this pizza, so let's give it a shot. So, I thought that was rather idiotic, The cheese looks nice. The sauce looks nice. I'm expecting a lot of good things out of this pizza, so let's give it a shot. Right? We've all seen that. I imagine the legendary pizza review from 2012, late thereof. And, so I'm looking, think, yeah, that's cute. And then I see the amount of loops, they call them loops, that's like the equivalent of views. And I mean, my eyes almost bulged out of my head. And I'll explain to you what happened. This is what they call, well, this is what I made up, right, okay? I call this the online rock star effect. Meaning, and this happened most famously with Rick Astley. the musician behind the infamous Rickroll of about almost 10 years ago now, earlier days in the internet, where, his song "Never Gonna Give You Up" was crazy, the Rickrolling, everyone was using it. Yet during the whole craze, he only earned about $10, in royalties and everything from it all. He got barely nothing from it all, but he still got this massive, kind of popularity, but he himself got almost nothing from it. I can say the same thing happened to me, but I'm not complaining. Some people would be upset, they'd be whining about it, saying, I need these views, blah, blah, blah. But, I just kind of say, yeah, good for the person who uploaded this. I'm glad they got all their loops. But this loop of me with the pizza got 1,221,730 views. I'm looking at it now. So should this have been on my channel, clearly the face of the report of the week, the channel itself, would be radically changed. And I know some people would say, and then I look at this, it got, almost 1.2 million views, right? I mean, that's a crazy amount right there. That's full-blown, viral tier. So it's rather humorous, though, because when people say something goes viral, right, you assume, it's impacting the person on the video, right? Well, the night that it went viral, I found the video, I was monitoring it, within, 5 minutes it got, 50,000 extra views. And it was actually kind of funny to watch. I checked the statistics on the YouTube channel, and over the course of the night, as the loop, whatever you call that thing, kind of accumulated, and eventually broke 1 million, and going up and up and up. Out of it all, I got about, maybe, doing the math, probably 20 extra subscribers from it. And maybe about 200 extra views. But I remember doing the math, and it was like 1 out of every 40,000 people who saw that little Vine video actually decided to research it further and check out who that was behind the little Vine there. So I thought that was just rather funny, and it just gives you just another experience to kind of tack onto the list to say, pretty interesting stuff, But I mean, then I think about it, I know people would be saying, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. This is what people would say. They'd be saying, damn, I wish I got all those views from my channel, and people clicked on my ads and made me all this money and got me all these subscribers, but, nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. But, I think to myself, X out of Vine. Don't like that. Come on, X out. There we go. But then I say to myself, truth be told, I'm happy that it didn't happen to my channel. I'm happy for the person who uploaded that little Vine on their Vine channel, and I'm happy that they got all the views and their popularity for it. But I'm not remotely upset that I didn't benefit in any way from it. I'm not, and I'll explain to you why I'm not upset that I didn't get all these views. People would be saying, it was such a missed opportunity, but no. I'll explain to you why, though. If you have been a long-time listener of VORW, remember me talking to you all about 2013 and how it inexorably changed the face of my channel. I.e., before the Pain Pizza review blew up, I had perhaps 200 subscribers, very close and loyal audience. And it was a good crew. Some of them still watch to this day. I've had a few people, names and faces I recognize, write in, and I always remember them, and it's always nice to see people sticking around for years. But anyways, when the pan pizza review, blew up like that, everything was like wiped clean, right? Channel was just flooded with new people, not saying the nicest things, if you know what I mean. The nice community of the days past was just flooded out, and it was just full of all these jerks, these people laughing at me, not with me, and just wasn't a nice thing. It wasn't really good for your personal morale, if you will. The same thing would happen, right, should a video of mine gone and gained all that attention rather than that little clip on Vine. If, say, the pan pizza review gained 1 million extra views earlier this week, then the face of the channel would be changed, and I don't know if I'd like it. I really don't. Because right now, yes, the channel is substantially bigger. Yes, there's a bigger audience, plenty of people commenting. But in the end, there's a great community that exists for this channel right now. And yes, I am talking about you specifically. You are the community. And there's a great community that exists around this channel. And to just lose it, to have the channel flooded with, there's no other word for them, have the channel flooded with all these normies, if you want to call them that, all these normal people who don't understand the channel, don't understand the premise of the reviews, don't understand me, and all that they're going to do is they're going to sit there, they're going to laugh at me, they're going to say, oh, LMFAO, WTF is this, they'll critique me on my wardrobe, they'll say, dude, get some more recent clothing, all these insults. Get all the people who are here, who support me, who actually watch the videos, and don't, watch the first 10 seconds. To have all those people just lost in a sea of now insulting and offensive and degenerated voices would just be truth be told, it would be honestly, it would be an utter shame to lose you guys. It really would. It really would. Would I continue on? Yeah, but it just wouldn't be the same, it would just be losing something. It really would be the end of an era of this channel. It would. It really would. So I'm just happy. I'm happy, that the person on Vine, they got their views and I didn't get anything from it, and I'm happy. I like it that way, honestly. Truth be told, I do. Glad it wasn't my channel that got flooded with all those people. Really am. So that's one thing about Twitter. Another thing, just a remark about. I doubt any of these people are literally watching, but if you are, this goes to you specifically. I don't mean this in a attacking way towards you at all, but I'm just talking to you all, telling you all about what's on my mind right now. So don't take this as me trying to start something, because I'm not. But sometimes every now and then someone asked on the YouTube. They said, you aware that you're, do you wear, your meme, they say, which kind of means you just kind of spread around the internet. And I said, yeah, of course, I've known since 2013. I'm self-aware, but I don't do anything to change who I am. I'm aware of that I'm different. I'm aware that people, kind of pass me around online, pass the videos around. But that doesn't make me change who I am. I'm fine with who I am myself, I have no problems. So yeah, I'm self-aware, I am aware of all that, but I don't do anything to change that, because I don't see anything to change, really. Just content with who I am. But, I sometimes check different sites, just, see if anything is going on with the channel, and I searched Twitter lately. I'm guessing here, that this is built off of all the stuff that happened on Vine. Now these people, because there's been more and more activity now on Twitter about about me. I'm guessing this is based off of those people from Vine who didn't forget about it yet. Maybe the 2% who didn't forget about it yet and decided to investigate further and check out the channel. And, I mean, getting some water right now. Well, I'm gonna get some water after I finish this. I'm on a roll here. But these people on Twitter right now, at least, I don't know. Sometimes I think Twitter, depending on how things are, sometimes I think that Twitter is worse than even 4chan when it comes to insults about me. At least from what I remember in 2015. I do. Really do, because even thinking back, 4chan, all they do is they just say, you're blah blah blah, you're autistic, which I don't even consider an insult anymore. But Twitter, they're just more picky about it. They don't, 4chan, there's some stuff on that site, we're not gonna get into that, but they'll insult you and then they'll eventually leave. But Twitter, they're a picky bunch, alright? They are. They'll just post about you, then they'll go, they'll post some more about you. Someone was implying that I support ISIS. The people on Twitter, it's just more kind of just, I don't know, just kind of just laughing at you, insulting you, but doing it more continuously, honestly. So, I wish, honestly, those people on Twitter, if they all just disappeared right now and never showed up on this channel again, if I lost views, if I lost subscribers, so be it. Good riddance. I wish that was a reality, but unfortunately they're going to be like little gnats. They're not going to leave, but, that's all. I know a lot of you guys have Twitter, and I know a lot of you guys, post on Twitter. I'm not talking to everyone who has a Twitter account. I'm not. I'm just talking to the people who have recently been, really vigorously, posting about me and trying to go against me on the site. And for those of you watching, that's probably none of you. Alright? So just because you have a Twitter, don't think I'm talking to you, because most likely I'm not. But this has been something that's on my mind and something I'd bring to attention. Why? Because VORW is a show about me and the channel, so it's a pertinent topic. It is. But yeah, Twitter, they're a real basket case, I swear. They've been giving me problems for as long as other sites have, really. Probably one reason that really contributes to my dislike of the social media, Twitter especially, is because of that. Because the people on Twitter, they're just a particularly insulting bunch, and they don't even have anonymity there either. Real blunt group, should I say. Oh well. Such is life, my friends. Life goes on, and so do I. And now I have a glass of water with 2 ice cubes, and I'm going to take a drink right now. So you can consider this a 5 to 10 second intermission. This is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. Okay, we got that out of the way, got some water, talked about different things, and let's just talk a little bit about the channel itself. So what happened between VORW show 102 and show 103, that's this show? Well, a few things. The interview with Anthony Fontana was up. If you haven't watched it yet and you're interested, I highly recommend it. The link is provided in the description. Actually, no, it's not in the description. It's in the comments section, but also in the description as well. So for those of you on all devices, you'll be able to view it. So feel free to watch that if you are so interested. All yours for the viewing. Otherwise, we got some reviews up. We got the Burger King Extra Long Sriracha Cheeseburger. That was, Burger King contributing to the sriracha craze. Everyone loves their sriracha, or their sriracha, but it's just, they say sriracha. Okay, but they put too much sriracha on. Too much, just smothered it. Then we went on a little Burger King streak. Then in public, we tried out the Burger King Pumpkin Spice Oreo Shake, which is okay. After that, to clear up some confusion, I talked about the rating scale. After that, of course, the Planet Wings. What's that? Yeah, the Planet Wings soft-shelled beef taco, which was, it was alright. Nothing special about it. And that was when the WHO released a report about the cancer. Which, I figure people have been eating this stuff for decades and decades, and, things are what they are, but nothing's really going to change from it at all. Always good to eat in moderation, though. Just in general, just good for your health. I say I do that, not necessarily, but, sometimes we can all be hypocritical. Then the Energy Mint review uploaded yesterday. The second Energy Mint review I've ever had on this channel. If you're wondering what the first Energy Mint review was, it was from Foosh. Foosh! I believe that's what it was. Foosh. Let's see this for clarification here. F-O-O-S-H. Foosh. Yeah. And this is going back to real early energy crisis too, right here. It is. Someone just commented, "Can I call you Daddy?" No, you can't, actually. You can call me Review Bra if you wish. Yeah, this is going way back into the energy crisis days from 2011. The Energy Drink Report. So today, we will be reviewing Foosh Energy Mints. Now, typically, my show is synonymous with energy drinks, but we have our exceptions. Yes, we do. And that's Foosh. But that was the only other Energy Mint product. And then came along Viter. They offered me some samples to review. I said sure. So, got them here, reviewed them, and I got some Viter Energy Mints. I'll auction them off on eBay. Autographed by Review Bra. Starting price is $1,200 per mint. I kid. That's not happening. Sorry to disappoint. I don't know how you can possibly autograph a little mint either. Don't even know. Guess I could just draw on it with a pen and say it's an autograph. I don't know. So that's what we got there. But, yeah, the second mint review, okay. Energy mints aren't too common, but they were there. Alright. And then finally we got the Taco Bell going, which was, which was standard Taco Bell, standard bell of tacos. I actually wanted to film the Taco Bell review on the day before, on the day that I reviewed those Viter mints, but it didn't happen, fell through. I mean, it was a rainy day, very windy, kind of chilly too. Very nice to look at, but not fun to be out in. But I went out, slapped on the raincoat, drove over to Taco Bell, went in. I had a bad feeling. I saw there weren't any signs for this yet, the boss wrap. I go to the counter, and I ask the people there, I say, you have the boss wraps? They said, "Oh no, we're sorry. We're getting them Thursday." Don't you think it was late Wednesday afternoon? They said they got them Thursday, so missed out, and I, kind of felt a little defeated. Said, I went out in this for nothing. But then I number one, to just be polite, You know, it's rather rude to simply walk away from the counter like that. And number two, to just make the visit worthwhile, I just bought the one of the loaded drillers, the ghost pepper one. I just bought one of them because number one, I kind of like that one, and number two, I wanted to make the trip somewhat worthwhile, at least to say, hey, at least I got this griller. So I did that, and then I reviewed the mints instead. But today, went over to the locale, and they had it, they made it, and I reviewed it. That's what we got. That's up for you. If you want to see what we got coming up in the realm of fast food and such, you want to see what we got going there. I'm just trying to verify this if it's there. Let's see this. I think it does exist. I think. Let me look this up. It's from Burger King. Yeah. Okay. Good. So you can expect the next real fast food review to be from Burger King. I imagine it'll come about on Monday. So expect it Monday. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over to Burger King. Again, yeah, Burger King is just pounding that stuff out, I swear. And they brought back some more chicken fries. People just love those chicken feist. And Burger King, in their infinite wisdom, presumably, decided to bring back the fiery chicken fries and call them by a different name, and now they're buffalo chicken fries. I shouldn't say that. Spicy isn't always just spicy. It has different flavors. We'll see, but we're going to try it. We're going to review it. Expect that Monday, hopefully. Maybe sooner if we can get our hands on it. But, expect it at least soon. Expect it soon, at least. I mean, maybe? Who knows? Maybe we'll get it sooner, but we'll see. We'll get you something. I promise you that, okay? Those buffalo chicken fries will be reviewed. So you can count on that. You can mark my words and just count on that because they will be reviewed. That's the buffalo chicken fries. And we'll see if they have any different type of flavor to them, if it tastes more like a buffalo sauce rather than just a spiciness. You know, I imagine, this is just my guess. I mean, if it tastes exactly like the fiery chicken fries, that's gonna be a bomb out. That's gonna be such a disappointment. But you know, hopefully they'll have like a little bit of a maybe a little bit of like a tanginess to them. Hopefully they'll just be more flavorful in general than standard, you know, fiery chicken fries. And I also hope at least there will be maybe a little bit more effort put into these buffalo chicken fries, and say if they just dumped some Frank's Red Hots on some regular chicken fries and put them in the oven or something. I hope it's a little more effort than that, but I'm not going to put Burger King on the pedestal just yet. Because if I do, chances are I'll be disappointed. It really goes for any fast food place, with some rare exceptions, such as mostly burger places, such as, you know, Five Guys, Steak and Shake, you know, some other places. Mooyah's pretty good. Smash Burger, Johnny Rockets. Those are all some good places. But other places really shouldn't just be put on a pedestal, because if you hold them in, you know, too high up, you're going to expect something that's higher quality than you'll get, and you'll just be disappointed every time. I think we ran out of things to talk about. Anything else to talk about? There's the strongest hurricane ever recorded. Well, not maybe in recorded history. It was Hurricane Patricia in the Pacific Ocean. Via AccuWeather.com, checking out the interactive hurricane tracker. Pretty neat little tool. Select the basin, Eastern Pacific. Select the storm, Patricia. And of course, there it is. One of the strongest storms, at least ever. It was a hurricane, of course. Winds at their peak at sustained winds of 201 miles per hour, with wind gusts going up to near 250 miles per hour, which is insane, you know. I mean, could you imagine Could you imagine 250 mile per hour wind gusts? I mean, that would just obliterate everything. So, a massive storm headed for Mexico made landfall on the 23rd. That was a week ago, last Friday, 8 p.m. But what happened, Unfortunately, people, in their just human nature, they want to see destruction. Didn't happen, and very thankful for the people of Mexico who live there. There was minimal destruction from even the strongest storm in history that hit Mexico. No deaths, or very few, and very little destruction. And people were puzzled. They'd say, well, what happened? This storm had 200 mile per hour winds. It made landfall, yet nothing happened. And it's rather morbid to say, but it's what people legitimately wonder. And the reason why that happened, because people imagined, okay? They said, they saw the size of this the storm on, satellite. They saw how it was just hundreds of miles across. Some people imagined that 200 mile per hour winds would be through the entire diameter of the storm, right? From as soon as the first clouds rolled in, the eye passed, and until the last clouds rolled out, it was just non-stop 200 mile per hour winds, right? But that's not the case, okay? That's just not how it was. If it was, believe me, the place would have been obliterated, and you would expect deaths to be in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. If the wind cone, they call it, was, like 300 miles across with 200 mile per hour winds. I mean, that would be insane. That would just probably be one of the worst natural disasters in recorded history. But instead, and some people didn't realize this, the wind cone itself of these alleged 200 mile per hour winds was only about 10 miles across. That's all it was. This little baby swath of, record winds. Then hurricane force winds extended out like 50 miles, and then just tropical storm force winds extended out, 100 miles or so. So because of that, the hurricane made landfall with winds about 160 miles per hour. Number one, landed in a very rural area, no one there. So that extreme strength wind cone was, you could think of it like a tornado almost. Kind of just carved out a path, knocked the trees down. And, there was flooding, places, some damage, but nothing substantial. And there were some mountains that it immediately hit. It weakened, and by the time that it was passing by Guadalajara, Mexico, it's a pretty big city in the region, it was down to 98 miles per hour. Then a little bit further up, down to 75. Then a few hours later, down to 35, down to 29, and then it became extratropical, where it then hit Texas, which actually caused probably more turmoil there than it did in Mexico, with the extensive flooding that it caused into an already drenched region. That's just a miscellaneous topic from Review Bra, talking about hurricanes. This is the general service of VORW, the Voice of the Report of the Week. Next up is, of course, the fan mail segment, where we will open up the mailbag show. We'll crack open the good old mailbag, and we'll read and respond to your letters and YouTube messages. Remember, if you'd like to participate in the mailbag show, please write us, send us a message via YouTube, or email us at repweekinterview1@gmail.com, or vorwinfo@gmail.com. And please remember, without your messages, we won't have the mailbag show. Because just remember that it is you who keeps this mailbag show going. The mailbag show requires 100% listener support. Meaning, just write to us if you want to. And that's what keeps it going. That's what keeps it entertaining and gives us something to talk about. So with that being said, we have plenty of letters to read in this show. And of course, we'll also come up and ask another question for VORW that if you do wish to respond to it in the mailbag segment, you may do so. Thank you for listening. This is VORW. And this is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. And this is the mailbag show from VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. And of course, the mailbag show, we read and respond to your very own letters and emails of support, criticism, general comments, questions, concerns, or just statements, organized or disorganized. We respond to it all right here on the mailbag show. Write to us, message us via email, repweekinterview1@gmail.com or vorwinfo@gmail.com, or message us on YouTube, and your letter is guaranteed to be read on this show. If we missed you, politely let me know. And of course, we'll make it up to you and get it read on the next one. And you just, act like an adult and I'll treat you like an adult. That's my policy. But if you come up to me and, say, "F you, review, bro, you didn't read my letter," chances are it's not going to get read on the next one. But, just say, "Hey, hey man, I don't think I heard my letter read. Sent it to you blah 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 ago. You think you can get a chance to get to it around next time?" And I'll say, "Yeah, sure. Probably read it first." But anyways, question of the show last time simply asked about how long does it take to get ready. About in your routine, how long does it take usually? Interesting. But this next question is pertinent. Okay, pertinent to the channel itself. In that regards, and talks about food, the consumption thereof, and mostly the locale thereof. I'm asking you this, and this is talking about the place where you physically consume the food, okay? Where you physically consume the food. Do you eat your meals more? And usually there's a higher percentage. People do this. It's a mixed, alright? It's mixed results. But most of the time people do one thing more often than the other. So here goes. We'll give this a shot. Do you eat your meals more often at home? Or do you eat out more often? Okay? Again, I ask you, do you eat your meals at home more often? And at home does count. Say you went to McDonald's and got a burger, but you ate it at home. That does count in this question, eating at home. Or do you go out to eat more often? That would be, say, you go to McDonald's, get a burger, but you eat it at the establishment, or you eat it in your car, or so on. So, I'm curious. Interested to see if more of us go out to eat, or stay at home to eat, or if it's just a plain tie. We'll see. We shall see. Me, in the end, where I physically consume the food, that's what we're talking about, where the food is physically consumed. The majority of the meal, I'd say I eat mostly at home. I will go out to pick up the food, but to physically eat it, I usually like to just do it in the comfort of my edifice. My lair is usually where I like to eat it the most. I'm in the basement right now. This is one of the rare occasions where I actually printed out your letters. You can hear the paper there. Can't see it because this is podcasts, the online equivalent of the radio. That's what we got. So we got a few here. Double-sided paper, both sides loaded up, full of text, 8.5, the size of. And then we're going to get to reading now, okay? Okay. The first letter on our agenda reads, "Hey, Report of the Week. To answer your question, I take about 45 minutes to get ready in the morning. Showering / brushing my teeth / drying off, etc. takes about 30 minutes, then another 15 to get dressed and get all my stuff together, whilst checking my phone, checking on my pets, and all that sort of stuff. I don't eat breakfast. I'm never hungry on the mornings, but I sure make up later in the day. I like to sit around for a while in the morning, so I have to get up an hour and a half before I need to leave the house. So I have a while to do nothing before I have to go out. It was great to see the return of Orca Man last episode, and I agree with the guy saying you should open up a P.O. box for people to send you things to review, or even physical fan mail and art, etc. Keep up the excellent work, my friend. Well, thank you for writing, and that sounds like a pretty relaxing morning, rather than just like me getting up, and if you have something to do, just getting dressed and getting out the door. Being able to get up and just take some time to just kind of sit around, wake up, enjoy the morning, heck, if I wasn't dead tired when I wake up, chances are I might get up in the mornings and maybe listen to Radio Australia's English service, which blasts in every morning. Always would be pleasant to hear, I imagine. And thank you for the suggestion about the P.O. box, and of course, Orca Man is always a wonderful addition to this show. This next person writes, "Hey, Report of the Week. I'm new to your channel, so excuse me if you've answered this before. What kind of literature do you enjoy? Favorite authors? Do you like Albert Camus? Your dress style reminds me of him." I do like Camus. I do, of course, his famous work, I believe, The Stranger, existentialist writer. Never really looked at pictures of him, though, so I can't see how he dresses, but, when I get up to the computer, I'll take a look and I'll see, maybe, But there are some authors I liked. I do like Stephen King, of course. He's great. That I do like. H.P. Lovecraft. Then you could always go, J.K. Rowling, right? Harry Potter. Speaking of Harry Potter, rebuke me all you like, but I forgot the plot of it. If any of you are real hardcore Harry Potter fans, yes, I have read all the books and watched all the movies, but I've just forgotten the entire plot of it. So, don't hate, but it's just that. Just my memory sometimes. Forget things. So I've forgotten it, so I get to, at least I get to read them or watch the movies over again, and I get to enjoy them like it's the first time. That's kind of fun. Hi, Review Bra. I've been watching your videos for about a year and a half now, and I've been meaning to write into this show for quite a while, as I consistently find them interesting and engaging. I'm currently in law school, and I find your VORWs really useful in keeping my mind focused and occupied whilst trawling through tedious legal documents and writing essays, etc. I just wanted to ask you if you had any thoughts and opinions, or even predictions regarding the 2016 presidential election, so you're comfortable talking about your own political views or preferences, that is. Thanks again, from H. Well, H, I'm not going to talk about my own personal political views in this program, because that will, no matter what, politics always causes debate. But I will say this, especially, I don't know, just comparing this to the, just comparing this election to the, the 2012 presidential election. I don't know, I just think the candidates in this one are just a lot more interesting, if you will, than the 2012 ones, Just ahead, you just had standard politicians, in 2012, you did. But 2016 is something else, alright. Something else. You got Donald Trump, one of the leading contenders on the Republican side, who's not even a politician, just this rich guy. Giving it his all. You got, Ben Carson, the neurosurgeon. Those are two interesting candidates right there. No real, I mean, it is interesting to see that none of the real standard politicians are really doing too well for the Republicans. And for the Democrats, of course, you have Bernie Sanders and Hillary. Hillary, she was really, that House committee really just went on her, but, it was tedious, but her campaign was not adversely affected from it. I know people have been saying the whole Benghazi thing was, gonna knock her out of the race, but so far she's still holding on. And Bernie Sanders too, he's got a shot right now, but for all the candidates, from Donald Trump to Bernie Sanders to good old Jeb Bush and everyone in between, the night is still young in terms of presidency, and future debates will decide the nominees and so on and so forth. So it'll be interesting, very, very interesting, constantly changing. So I'd say it's something, if you're interested in politics, something to follow for sure. Hello, Report of the Week. I've been watching your videos for a while now, about a year now. I never bothered to send a message, but after your recent VORW, I decided to send one, as I'm obviously writing one right now. I've noticed after watching your videos that you have a proficient use in vocabulary, which is one of the first things I notice about people. I'm saying that in a highly approving manner, because it can very much define an individual and how intelligent one can be. I wanted to ask you two questions away from the topic of vocabulary. Do you read in your free time? And finally, do you prefer to be independent, or do you contact others in situations? I myself prefer to keep to myself, but I do talk to friends fairly often. Therefore, I wish you the best of luck, and keep up the tasteful content. From Nick. Well, Nick, do I read in my free time? I will from time to time. Most of the time I'm a big radio listener right now, but I'll read from time to time, whatever. If it's I've been doing a lot of writing myself, actually. I have. I want to work on it a little more, but if you've been listening to VORW a while, you might remember earlier in the year I read an excerpt of my short story Regression of Life. I've been working on that still. Got about 15 pages down now. I have a lot of it planned out. I have about probably 6 pages worth of handwritten material to convert to the computer. Then after that I have it all planned out now. So in total I got a nice little short story going. So I've been focusing a lot on writing, but reading and writing really do go hand in hand. I really do. I've been doing a lot of writing though. But yeah, no, I'll read from time to time. I will. Sometimes I'll read a little novel, short stories especially, newspaper articles, and so forth. But I always try to read something, but I also like to listen a lot too. Listen to the radio. Of course, the primary medium being shortwave, and the broadcasts therein. I was doing some shortwave listening tonight. I was listening to and now this is being recorded Friday evening, the Mailbag Show. Listening to WBCQ, the station which I had broadcast via for a while. Listening to them for a bit. I also sent a very harshly worded message to the Voice of Turkey, telling them that they ought to get their acts together, and if they want to have a successful English service to North America, they ought to be using a frequency that isn't right next to a real strong station that's completely jamming them out. So I kind of chewed them out on that, and hoping someone will at least come to their senses and realize when they end up getting no reception reports from North America that their frequency is such a poor choice, when there's literally a completely clear one just down the band a little bit that they could be using. They'd be blasting into North America, but instead they choose to go right next to Vatican Radio, which is just so strong you can't even hear them. I got off topic, but sometimes I do that with shortwave. Anyways. And he also asks, do I prefer to be independent or contact others in situations? It depends. I'd say I'm a hybrid between the two. And meaning I don't have a social circle. Okay, I don't. I only have 2 people who I talk to. Only one of them actually physically talking to. But that's it. So usually in situations, I'll just consult one of those people. So for the most part I guess I'd say, not totally independent. Can I easily function on my own? As I have, absolutely. But whenever like a problem arises, a situation arises, I always like to consult one of these people and just get an opinion from that I value very greatly. And that's the truth. So usually whenever I'm confronted with a decision, usually I'll turn to one of these people and and get a very important and valued opinion on a matter. But to say, do I contact others? Not I don't contact, 14 people when I'm trying to figure out something. I'll just contact, usually one of these 2 people who are just closest to me, and that's it. That's all that there is, otherwise I don't socialize with anyone else. Not a real social butterfly, as they say. On to the next. Dear review bro, I would like to commend you on the refreshing nature of your food reviews. Here in the UK, we have many television cookery shows where food is prepared and then tasted, often by a panel of judges. They smack their lips in appreciation, close or roll their eyes while the camera zooms in on their faces as they exclaim, or ah. It is all rather embarrassing that individuals who are thought to know what they are talking about and are proclaimed by the masses as food experts struggle to properly articulate their opinions about the food. I find you to be a welcoming alternative, a well-spoken and classy gentleman who offers honest and insightful opinions. I often take your views into consideration when considering the small selection of foods that have been featured that are also available in the UK. You offer both good and bad points about the food rather than just pegging the items at either end of the satisfaction scale. Following my very recent discovery and treasure trove that is the Report of the Week, I have spent many hours watching your videos and have gladly lapped up the unique and delightful personality that is you. Out of curiosity, I have watched other reviewers on YouTube reviewing the very same products that you have examined, yet I find that you are absolutely the best of the bunch. Many others can be obnoxious, loud, lack articulacy, and appear to be simply doing their reviews for the purpose of expanding a channel. As a result, they lack the passion that you display, a rare quality in the vast world of YouTube. It would be interesting to see you try some of the regional foods that we have here in the UK, as well as further afield. However, you are always the most trusted person to review fast food items. Many thanks for the content you produce and keeping me occupied on long and otherwise tedious bus journeys. From Lauren. Well, thank you for writing, and thank you for your thoughts and opinions in comparison to other food reviewers and critics. And I do agree that some of the professional ones, as professionally trained as they may be, I just think some of them just overdo it. Okay, I didn't know they just do it for the camera. They're told to do that by the director, by the producer and all those people. They're just telling them what to do. It's on the script. Probably the teleprompter says do this. The floor manager is giving them hand signals, whatever it may be. But these people are just told what to do. They're told to over-exaggerate. They think people like that. But, in the end, it just looks like it's too produced. It's not genuine. It's as though they perhaps tried this chicken dish, over the course of 75 different takes, and, it's not authentic. And that's why whenever I try to find a food review, I myself will sometimes, especially for just, like, local restaurants mostly, where I don't really not going to review them, and I just don't want to go there and waste my money on something that's going to be awful, unless it's for review purposes, really. So usually then I'll go to sites and see what people say about local restaurants, and I don't know, I kind of most of the time just trust reviews just from normal people, just from a genuine person who isn't doing it for an audience or for a like a massive nationwide audience, and is doing it to be over the top and too eccentric and everything. No, that's just me. That's just me. Thank you for writing. Hello, review bro. My morning routine for school or work usually takes about 45 minutes. I get up, get dressed, have cereal and coffee, and maybe browse the news. Then I brush my teeth and do my hair before driving to take the subway. A question for you. Do you have any interest or knowledge of hockey? Or what is the general attitude to hockey where you live? The Buffalo Sabres, New York Rangers and Islanders, and the New Jersey Devils are all pretty close by. I also attached some fan art, which can be found here. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you for the fan art that has been featured along with one other drawing in this broadcast. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope all of you enjoy this work too. Hockey, I'm not a hockey fan. I'm not. So it says I watch it and I see these guys skating around, beating the you-know-what out of each other on ice. That's about it. But I mean, there's people who are definitely hockey fans. Not as many hockey fans in this area as there are baseball or American football fans. But there's a few. The one hockey fan who I knew back in the day, and no longer communicate with him. Haven't talked to him for years. He was big. He was a Rangers fan, New York Rangers. He had some sort of contract or knew someone with a contract or something, and he would be able to get tickets to every single game, and he would just always go. Every single time there was a game, he would be there. He would always wear a Rangers jersey and everything. He was a big fan of him. But that's that. And thank you again for the fan art. Greatly appreciated. If you have any fan art that you'd like to contribute and see featured on the next show, please submit it to us. Send us a link via YouTube mail or email us the picture, repweekinterview1@gmail.com or vorwinfo@gmail.com. On to the next. Dear vocalizations of reporting weekly, writing you is Ivor of coming from mining town Ekduvak of Russian Empire. My country is cold and love is dead. Your broadcasting's making us hopeful in times of crop failure. I'm not going to read it like that the whole way through. In times of crop failure, mentioning your reviewing products of capitalism is bringing warmth to frostbitten extremities and keeping mother's leukemia at bay. Comrade Dmitri review potato as you to make high spirits for famine. Afraid of winter, from Ivor. Well, thank you for your words, Ivor. Thank you very much. Your feedback and And the news from the Russian Empire is greatly appreciated there. On to the next. Hello. Hi. I'm a new subscriber to your YouTube channel. I listened to your needle drop interview and really enjoyed the conversation, so I checked out your content. I just want to set you a breath of fresh air. I'm an avid fast food eater, so of course I am enjoying the content, but I think you as a personality is really what is hooking me. You just seem very genuine, and it seems as though you're offering all that you really are, and not trying to be anything else that you're not. So, yeah, keep up the good work, and I look forward to future content. P.S. Very classy attire, I must say. Well, thank you. And, thank you for writing. Thank you for writing. Glad to have you with us. And, I always say, I just do me. And by that I just mean, I just be myself. I don't try to be someone who I'm not. I know I'm not normal. But, I've just come to accept it. I just say, I'm not normal. And I just am who I am. And that's all there is to it. I just try to be me, and that's it. I know it's like those folks on Twitter can be annoying. They can get on my nerves sometimes, like they did last night. But, in the end, I just put it all behind me, and I just keep going. Make me want to change who I am as a person, they don't, and I'm not going to. I just am who I am, and it doesn't matter. I am who I am. I'm not going to change that. I'm content with who I am. Dear review bro, hope this finds you well. I've recently come across your channel, or rather, I've been listening in the background while I work for a few weeks now. I tend to work from home day trading, so it's a blessing. It really brightens the day. Although you've already answered this, I'm sure, I believe your favorite suit is your gray one. When was it acquired, and how? Lots of love, Jess. P.S. To do my usual morning routine, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Makeup is hell. Okay, what was that? The gray suit. Now, I have a few gray suits, but, how are they all acquired? Alright. I imagine the suit in question, it's either, I'm just thinking here, probably a single-breasted gray suit, or it's a double-breasted gray suit with the white pinstripes. The double-breasted gray suit with the white pinstripes was purchased by me online back in early 2014. In the initial beginning of my expansion of suits to stray away from the modern fashions and to return to a more traditional, 90s look of suits. So I was part of that push to do that. So that's when I attained that. I bought that one online. The other gray suit, which I think that's the one you mean, but my favorite, I've been wearing a lot lately. I wore it in the latest review I did in public, the Taco Bell one. That gray suit. That one was attained earlier this year. It was actually a gift, believe it or not, from one of the two people who I'm close with, who I mentioned earlier in the review. That was just a gift from one of them. And really, maybe that's what, also makes it a favorite of mine. But overall, it's just a great suit. I just love the way the pants, especially, I just love how they fit on that suit. Great jacket, nice, wide lapels. You can wear it just year-round. Warm in the winter, but still keeps you cool in the summer. I just love the fit of the pants on that suit. Really do. I just love that. Love that style. Don't see any like it anymore. So, really just a remarkable find, and my credit is given to the individual who got that suit. what's the next letter here? Review Bro. I wanted to make sure that you and all of your listeners were aware of the free AM Crunch Wraps on November the 5th between 7 and 11 a.m. This is from Taco Bell. The person writes, okay. Free AM Crunch Wraps, November the 5th, between 7 and 11 a.m. So if you're interested in that, and, you're interested in a free Crunch Wrap, go for it. If he's trolling us all, I'm not responsible, but I'm just going to take it as a valid public service announcement. The individual also writes, I was wondering if you had a dog, if you had a dog in the World Series fight, being that you're from the Northeast. As a Kansas Cityan, you and I probably root for the opposite sides. Thanks for your channel, and keep up the good work. Well, thank you. I know the World Series or something is going on, but I don't know. I'm not paying attention to it. I know the Mets. I know something's going on with them. If they're still in the game, I'll root for them because they're the New York team. But otherwise, don't really follow that. Follow NASCAR more than anything else. Continuing on. Person just keeps it simple. You're adorable, keep doing what you're doing. Well, thank you for that insightful message. Now checking the emails. First, VORWinfo@gmail.com. Hey Review Bro. I've been catching up on the previous VORW shows in my spare time. They are by far my favorite thing on your channel. I hope we will see a new one soon. Yes, indeed you will. Here in Canada, we just elected a new Prime Minister, which got me wondering if you plan on voting and where you lie on the political spectrum. Take care, Scott. Second political question of the program. Do I plan on voting? I'm not sure. Not decided yet. And where I lie on the political spectrum, I hope you understand. I will abstain from answering that on this show to avoid conflict between listeners. Hope you understand. Politics just often sparks fights between people. Someone will bring up some topic and people will just fight over it. Right? So, just something I try to avoid. At least sharing my own personal opinions. I'll give general statements and thoughts on things like the candidates and everything, like I did earlier. Anyways, next email reads, Dear Review Bro, I thought I'd take this opportunity to write to you. It is currently 2:10 a.m. here in London, although we are about to revert to GMT, so I may finish writing this email at a time earlier than when I began writing it. I write to you whilst sitting on my balcony, taking in the moonlight sights of the 2012 Olympic Park, which I can assure you is most pleasurable. Having watched your most recent video regarding your rating scout got me thinking, have you ever considered doing a top 5 video, or even bottom 5? You have many detailed reviews which are excellent, but it might be nice for us, viewers, to have a compact video of recommendations or of products to avoid. Perhaps this idea is more directed at the Energy Crisis series, since the products reviewed there are more similar than those reviews in Running on Empty, but I'd welcome a top 5 from both. I hope this email finds you in good spirits. Keep up the good work, from Will. Oh, thank you for writing, Will, in the UK. And that's interesting. I never thought about doing a top 5 video, but I think that is an interesting little concept to think of. And, you raise a good point when you say you have all these reviews, yet people might want to know which product is the best. and you'd have to sort through it, they'd have to root through it. I doubt too many people are going to watch 500 videos just to find which one I rated the highest. So I could definitely see the convenience factor of a top 5 or bottom 5 video. And finally, our final letter. Dear Almighty Review Bro, I was wondering if you would be willing to assemble a hierarchy of burgers. Such a spectrum of savory treats would be an invaluable tool for your humble followers as we wage a meaty crusade in search of the creme de la creme, or bouffe de la bouffe, in the Dar al Burger. Warm regards and anxious appetites from Bob Jenkins, you comrade in buns. Well, thank you for writing, Bob. And I think your message really does tie into the one beforehand about the top 5. It would be, could do, a video, maybe top 5 burgers, something like that. We shall see. We shall see. That concludes the mailbag segment for VORW, the voice of the report of the week. Always keep in mind the question for this program, if you would like to answer it, which talks about dining and food. What do you do more? Do you eat out, or do you eat at home? That's the question. Feel free to answer it if you so choose. Otherwise, keep in mind, your messages are greatly encouraged, greatly appreciated, and welcomed with open arms here on VORW. Have any comments, questions, general statements you'd like to make, criticisms, suggestions, questions, anything you'd like to say to us, please message us. Message me via YouTube. Click on the About tab, send message, type in the contents, and send it away. Or email us, repweekinterview1@gmail.com. That's the channel's email. Or specifically for VORW, VORWinfo@gmail.com. No spaces there. VORWinfo@gmail.com. Regardless of where you send it, it will get to my own eyes. It will be seen by me, and it will be featured on this show. And remember, if we did skip over your message, politely let me know, and I will make it a point to feature it first on the next show. Again, thank you for listening. This is VORW, the voice of the report of the week. Hope you enjoyed listening to this, watching this. I imagine this is going to be uploaded early hours of Halloween, so I hope you have a very happy Halloween. Have a great weekend. More reviews to come. More VORWs to come. Thank you again. We'll see you later. Have a great one. Take care. This is the voice of the report of the week, signing off.